Is Malaysia big enough for most of us? This must be the most important question that you will ask private equity firm Creador, which has decided to break into the pharmacy game. Now this puts Creador, or its company, RedCap, head-to-head with other competitors such as Guardian, Watson, AA, Big, and also a host of other independent pharmacies which have their own ardent fans. We speak to RedCap Managing Director Ian Cruddas to get insights on how he plans to move the company forward. Now Ian, thank you so much for agreeing to interview with us today. So first of all, could you explain to us briefly what is this RedCap and how has it evolved from before?
Yeah, it was a project that we sort of started at the beginning of last year. And Creador, our private equity partners, secured the acquisition of The Apothec, which is a small pharmacy chain in Johor with 14 outlets. Very good business, very focused on service and pharmacy. I then got sort of involved in the middle of the year. I spent the first few months sort of assessing the business and developing a potential brand, and also recruiting some very skilled retailers and experienced retailers from Malaysia to sort of then build up a business plan. Right. So that sort of all sort of kicked in at around September, October last year, and then November we opened the first store branded as RedCap. We converted one of the original The Apothec stores to a RedCap store in Shah Alam, and then it just kept going and going. And after that, we've opened one store a week.
I see. Okay, now Ian, you have a very colourful background, from Watsons to Nando's to now pharmaceutical. How do you plan to, with your experiences, plan to grow this business forward, given stiff competition? You have the likes of Guardians and others as well.
Yeah, look, any retail environment I've worked in has been a very competitive landscape. Competition is always good for the customers because it gives all of us the edge in terms of service, pricing, environment, etc. In terms of my background, obviously I've been in the market for a while. I think that does give me a very good grounding in terms of knowing the geography of the retail market. It's also given me a fantastic opportunity with the people that I've been able to bring into the business. But you're right, this pharmacy sector is a competitive market, but it is still very fragmented, and what we're hoping to do as part of our plan is sort of consolidate some of that and modernise it, but also get it nearer and more convenient to people's homes.
Is the industry having a overcapacity of the pharmacy, or is it underutilised?
No, the data we have is even without separation, there's still significant opportunity for pharmacies. And what we're finding as we progress this work is we're finding areas where there's a very high density of pharmacists in one specific location, but they're not geographically spread. Klang Valley is obviously much more dense in terms of it. Outside, as we go to the outstation towns, to the other states, we're finding massive opportunities to be nearer our consumers' houses.
Right, okay. Now, what is the growth strategy that you are planning to embark? Are you going to grow organically, opening more stores, or how would you do that?
Our primary focus is going to be organic growth. At the moment, we're opening one a week. Once we've got all our processes, people and systems absolutely in place, we'll try and speed that up to maybe 2, 3, 4 a week. As we progress, I think what will happen is we might look at some smaller acquisitions, but the focus is all about organic growth. That's our key priority. I think for year 1, year 2, all organic.
Are you not concerned about the escalating capex costs and operating costs that comes with this expansion?
The highest bit of our operation costs is, of course, in terms of staffing, is the staff, and particularly the pharmacists, because the model is to have pharmacists in all stores throughout the trading hours. CapEx is easy to maintain. It's quite a simple fit out that we're doing, but quite impactful because we're using colour as opposed to expensive equipment or LED lighting. So that doesn't necessarily bother us. Of course, we've got the fund that our private equity partners have given us, and we're also generating our own money as well.
Right, okay. Now, there's this talk about this TPPA that will affect the drug prices and so on. What is your concern or comment on that?
I don't know I mean, if it affects it positively for pricing for the customers, that's a good thing. You've got this agreement that's now been put in place. I think it's going to take a while before we start to see the results from that. Even with some of the other ASEAN agreements that are being in place, the benefits don't really come sort of until year 3. So that doesn't scare us, it doesn't make us nervous. What we'll make sure is we're in a very strong position by the time it really starts to impact. And sort of by year 2, year 3, we should be 150, 200 stores, and therefore our involvement will be quite key.
But you will maintain your pricing competitive against...
Absolutely. Look, we're not a price proposition. It's not going to be. We're not going to be ripping the hell out of pricing. What we've got to do is offer our consumers value, and bundle up with a magnificent environment, convenience, and service. We're not going to be trading promotional-driven slash prices. That's not the proposition. But neither are we going to be expensive. Yeah, it's value.
Right. When you want to say to expand, right? Which areas in Malaysia do you see potential growth?
Well, initially what we're going to look at, because we've got the base in Johor, and we've now got a relative base in KL, we'll probably pincer down that north-south corridor from KL to JB. Post that, we'll then start looking everywhere else. And one of the fantastic things we have with our partner is there's no limit. We can East Malaysia, we can go and do some different formats if we want to. We can push the boundaries of what we're currently doing. So that geographically there's no limit. We want to be everywhere. The plan is to be having at least peninsula-wide distribution, and then East Sabah and Sarawak as well.
Right. Is there any plan to go international market?
Hey,
ASEAN?
look, if our model starts to work and we start to get real traction, and then we think that other markets around Asia, Southeast Asia particularly, could take this brand and this model, absolutely we'll look at it.
Right. My last question to you: what is your 5-year outlook horizon for the apotheke or RedCap?
Now, it depends who you talk to. Depends on what time of day you talk to them. Depends on whether it's a lunchtime with wine or after wine. Look, our realistic target with the opening rate we're going now, we reckon within 2 to 3 years we should be at 300 stores. The limit, if you were to ask me my personal goal, I'd love to take it to 500. And I think then it's a really credible, sizable operation. And then, as you said, as you alluded, and then maybe we just start to look at taking it across the borders into the other countries.
As they said, the sky is the limit, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you very much, Ian.
You're welcome.